What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Warrant Report. It's time to talk about Kevin Durant yet again because there is more news involving him and the Toronto Raptors. Now, day by day, ever since Adrian Wojnarowski announced that the Raptors may be a dark horse team, we've been hearing more and more rumors about Kevin Durant and the Toronto Raptors as well. So I'm going to provide some news update on you guys regarding that situation. So if you guys are ready to watch this video, guys, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be very much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, usually I do give out shout outs, guys, but there was no one asking for a shout out. I offered it in my last video. But let's get to this tweet first. Now, you're probably wondering, who is Jordan Bolton? And this is a good friend of Gary Trent Jr., but not only a good friend, he is also the roommate of Gary Trent Jr. He tweeted this out yesterday, a suitcase. You obviously got the Statue of Liberty, a pointing arrow saying soon, and eyes. Those obviously eyes mean what is going on. Again, you could interpret that in different ways. Maybe he's taking a vacation to New York. Who knows? But it's very unlikely that he does that. And the fact that Toronto Raptors have been linked so strongly to Kevin Durant lately, and Gary Trent's friend comes out and says this, I don't know. Maybe unless he's getting traded to the New York Knicks, which is very unlikely, I think something could be brewing in the books for the Raptors and Kevin Durant. Those odds have been increasing as well, which I will talk about in just a second. But again, maybe he's just taking a trip out to New York, but I don't necessarily think Gary Trent and his roommate and his good friend would be tweeting this out for no reason. I mean, Jordan Bolton, a lot of people didn't know who he was, and of course you found that out yesterday after he tweeted this out. I don't know, guys. You could interpret this the way you want it. I think it's very cryptic. Maybe something's happening. Players' agents always get the news before. They always know the insiders, even more than some of the NBA reporters as well. So maybe this means something, maybe it doesn't, but this is still a very weird tweet to send out given the timing of everything and the Raptors being linked to Kevin Durant. Now let's talk about some other things as well, because there's been a lot of chatter about the Raptors and Kevin Durant. And I made a video about 10 days ago when there was rumors about Kyrie Irving potentially wanting to go out from the Brooklyn Nets. And I talked about how the Raptors would be a perfect team for Kevin Durant. I got a lot of flake for it, but the reason I said this is take a second to relive that moment that Masai Ujiri acquired Kawhi Leonard. And why did he do so? It's because the Toronto Raptors have a very hard time attracting top free agents. Not even all-stars, obviously all-time greats is going to be a challenge for the Raptors. Of course, the American players view Toronto as a certain way, but that is not the case for Kevin Durant. Now, I want to break this down. Hoop Central is a very reputed Twitter source saying the Raptors are interested in trading for Kevin Durant and are just as involved in a possible KD trade as the Suns and the Heat. That's quite surprising given the fact that the Suns and the Heat were Kevin Durant's top choice, but I wouldn't put it as far because Kevin Durant on the record has gone on to say several times about how much he loves Toronto. He has highly praised the Raptors rookie Scottie Barnes, as you see in the picture there. He's also praised, he's also praised not KD. He's also praised Fred VanVleet as well. He's praised the whole organization. He loves the city of Toronto. I think this could be a match made in heaven for the Raptors. And the fact that the odds keep increasing day by day, the Raptors' odds for Kevin Durant continue to surge. Nearly 30% chance, Vegas says. The Toronto Raptors now have about a 30% chance to land Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. Vegas says. I'm going to break that article down here for you guys. So as you see there, the Toronto Raptors are no longer some distant dark horse in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. After opening at 3,500 to land the Brooklyn Nets star, the Raptors have surged as to a plus 250, conveying about a 30% chance Durant plays in Toronto next season, according to DraftKings. Those are the second best odds in the league, trailing only the Phoenix Suns, who remain the heavy favorites at minus 130, conveying a 57% chance he plays for the Suns. For now, it seems like a two-horse race between Toronto and Phoenix, with Brooklyn and Miami sitting at plus 1,000, conveying just a 9% chance he remains with the Nets or is dealt with the Heat. Now, the reason they see that for the Miami Heat is because Bam Adebayo cannot be traded to the Brooklyn Nets because he's on a rookie extension, just like Ben Simmons is. I think that's against the league rules, and so it wouldn't allow the Nets to acquire Bam Adebayo, and it wouldn't make sense for the Miami Heat to trade Jimmy Butler. So again, they do have some interesting pieces like Tyler Hero. You could say maybe Duncan Robinson. I personally don't think that's enough to acquire Kevin Durant. And the Phoenix Suns as well. I know people think they could sign and trade DeAndre Ayton. Brooklyn Nets have come out and said they don't want DeAndre Ayton. So what leaves? I mean, are you trading Jay Crowder? Like what other pieces do they have besides Devin Booker and Chris Paul? So again, there's some chatter about Toronto being that team, and I think that would be a really nice team, and I could definitely see it happening. Now, there has been a notion among a lot of Raptors fans ever since I've made the video that Kevin Durant we should not trade for him because he's going to be 34 coming into next season. He's aging, he's on the decline, and I completely disagree. This is his regular season stats. Now, you take a look at his 2014, 2020, 2015 season with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He averaged 25 points, and ever since, besides obviously his last season with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2015, 2016, where he averaged 28 points, his season points per game have been increasing besides that first year with the Warriors. And he has been aging since too. It's not like he is in his early 20s. After averaging 25.1 points with the Warriors in 2016, 2017, where he was 28 years old, his point production has been steadily increasing season by season. And this is not to take into consideration that at age 31, he dealt with an Achilles injury. He's went on from averaging 26.4, 26 points, 26.9 points to having a spectacular season with the Brooklyn Nets and averaging 29.9 points. I know people will say, well, he's also missed a lot of games, and that may be fine. He is missing time, which is expected for someone who's gone through injuries, but the Raptors are a perfect organization for him because they can load manage him. They have great medical staff. We saw what we did with Kawhi Leonard. Load management works well because the Raptors also have a chance to develop some of their young players as well while sitting out Kevin Durant and having him ready for the playoffs. Now, I wanted to talk about OG Anunoby as well because there's been a lot of chatter about why would the Raptors trade two young guys in OG Anunoby and Gary Trent Jr.? Well, I wanted to talk about OG Anunoby first because people keep betting on the fact that you're betting on potential here. But OG Anunoby, guys, realistically speaking, he's one of my favorite players, but he's never going to become Kevin Durant. Now, you see his field goal percentage here. He shot 50%, 48%, and then 43%. So he's getting more involved in the offense. He's taking more shots, but his field goal percentage is decreasing. So, and again, you take a look at how many shots he's taking. The last two seasons, he took about 12.1 shots per game to average about 15.9 points. This past season, he took nearly 15 shots to average 17 points. So even if you give him about 20 shots a game, he's averaging 23 points a game. So he's going to be 25 heading into next season. And you have to be realistic with some of the options, guys. OG Anunoby isn't a fluid offensive player. You've seen him lose his balance when he's going ISO. He's a great player, great 3-and-D player. And like I said, he's one of my favorite players. I love him, and it would hurt to see him and Gary Trent Jr. go as well. But I just think when you get the chance to trade for an all-time player like Kevin Durant, you absolutely make that move. Gary Trent Jr. is an exciting young player. He's a career 41% field goal shooter from the field. So again, he doesn't finish at the rim either, which is a huge problem for the Raptors. But acquiring Kevin Durant would be massive because some of these fans that have been saying, well, he's not a leader. And that may be fine. He may not be a leader. And I could agree to a certain degree. But you don't necessarily need him to be that leader. There's been a lot of negative talk about how he choked in the playoffs, and he did. I'm not denying the fact that he didn't, but there's also been a lot of chatter about him not being loyal, how he hasn't done anything without the Warriors. But those are some of the similar things we heard with Kawhi Leonard when he went down with that injury with the Spurs where he refused to play the entire season. Some of the issues surrounding him were he's not a leader. He's been surrounded by Hall of Famers in Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker as well until he proved what he was capable of doing with the Raptors. They questioned his character, whether he had the passion to play basketball. And I think it's just silly talk when you talk about Kevin Durant because now people are saying, well, Kawhi Leonard did that with the Raptors. But what makes you think Kevin Durant can't do the same with the Raptors? With all due respect to Kawhi Leonard, I absolutely love him, but what has he done with the Clippers? Nothing. The Raptors are a much better run organization than the Brooklyn Nets, and the fact that we have an all-time great coach, arguably, I know he's just starting out, Nick Nurse, who's a way better coach than Steve Nash. Our organization is run way better than the Brooklyn Nets. We're a complete mess. I think Kevin Durant would strive in our system. He doesn't have other guys like Kyrie Irving or James Harden that are creating so much nonsense off of the court. Instead, he will have guys like Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, who put in the work in the court, who improve season by season, and who aren't in the headlines for the wrong reasons. He's going to have excellent teammates. Again, that's assuming the Raptors were to keep Pascal Siakam, who, by the way, has been rumored to be untouchable, just as Scotty Barnes has been. But if we kept Fred VanVleet as well, you got two guys there who are great second and third options on a championship team. And I think that would be an excellent team with Kevin Durant. I do want to hear your thoughts, though. I know there's been a lot of hot debates regarding this because Kevin Durant is older. There's been all sorts of questions about his character, him jumping ships, but he's locked in for 4 seasons. The Raptors don't have to trade him. So again, I don't think he comes to the Raptors and demands a trade. I think the Raptors automatically become championships favorites, and I think they'll definitely win a championship considering how well this organization is run. But I do want to hear from you guys, so make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I do have a trivia question for you today, and that trivia question is, which player has the most career block shots in NBA history? Is it A. Tim Duncan? Is it B. Hakeem Olajuwon? Is it C. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Or is it D. Shaquille O'Neal? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video, guys. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And if you guys are still watching this video, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.